You know, when you think about the greatest unsolved crimes in history, there's one name that always seems to pop up: D.B. Cooper. It is just an incredible tale of pure audacity, of a man who literally vanished into thin air, leaving behind this massive American legend that we're gonna break down right now. And it all kicked off with these 7 simple, almost polite, but absolutely terrifying words. They were written on a note he just handed to a flight attendant. There was no yelling, no panic, just this quiet, chilling threats that started one of the boldest heists you've ever heard of. So that's the big question, right? It's the puzzle we're gonna try and piece together. How in the world did this happen? For over 50 years, this has stumped the FBI and totally captivated the rest of us. Was this guy a genius, or was this just a wild, desperate gamble? All right, so first, let's set the scene for what, on paper, looks like a completely impossible crime. This wasn't just some smash and grab. This was a performance, a masterclass in calculated nerve. Picture this. It's the day before Thanksgiving, 1971. A quiet guy in a dark business suit buys a one-way ticket using the name Dan Cooper. The media would later mistakenly call him D.B. Cooper, and that's the name that stuck. He looked like any other businessman, he just blended right in. Nobody on that short 30-minute flight had a clue it was about to become one for the history books. But what's really fascinating here is the man himself. It's not just what he did, but how he did it. The key to this whole thing, the reason it worked, was how incredibly calm he was through it all. So check out how this whole thing unfolds. It's like clockwork. He gets on the plane, passes that note, and then just waits. Once they land in Seattle, he lets all 36 passengers go in exchange for the cash and 4 parachutes. Then he orders the pilots to take off again, telling them exactly where to fly, south, towards Mexico City. And this is so important to understand. The flight attendant's leader said he was polite, calm, even thoughtful. While the whole thing was going down, he ordered a bourbon and soda and paid for it. That composure is what made the bomb feel so real. He wasn't some crazed lunatic. He was in control, which made everyone on board take him very, very seriously. Okay, so the passengers are safe on the ground, the money's on the plane, and now we get to the final act of this unbelievable drama. This is the exact moment that Dan Cooper stops being just a criminal and jumps straight into being a legend. He demanded $200,000. Now, that might not sound like a life-changing amount of money today, but you gotta remember, this was 1971. Back then, that was worth over $1.5 million in today's money. Yeah, that's a serious payday. Following Cooper's very specific instructions, the pilots flew low and slow. And then, he did the unthinkable. He went to the back of the Boeing 727, lowered the rear staircase, and with the money literally strapped to his body, he leaped out into the black of night, into a freezing, raging storm, and then, just nothing. So, of course, the huge question on everyone's mind is, could anyone actually survive that? Was this a brilliant getaway or just a really dramatic suicide? At first, the FBI was convinced there was no way he survived. But, well, the truth is a little bit murkier than that. So how could what seems like an impossible jump actually be plausible? Well, it turns out it wasn't just dumb luck. It was this perfect storm of specific knowledge, incredible timing, and exploiting some serious weaknesses in the system. When you really break it down, his plan had 3 core elements. He knew the plane he was on inside and out, he used the horrible weather to his advantage, and he took full advantage of the fact that, back then, airport security technology was basically non-existent. Okay, first up, the plane itself. This is the real genius of the plan. The Boeing 727 was pretty much the only commercial airliner that had a staircase in the back, the aft air stairs, that you could actually open in the middle of a flight. Cooper obviously knew this. It gave him the perfect exit, totally out of sight of the pilots. They wouldn't have even known he was gone. And here's the crazy part. You'd think a raging storm would be a bad thing, right? Well, for Cooper, it was his best friend. He had the plane fly low and slow, which made the jump survivable for an experienced skydiver. The pitch-black, stormy night meant the Air Force fighter jets that were tailing the plane couldn't see a thing, and that vast, dense forest below, the perfect place to vanish without a trace. And you have to realize, this is a crime of its time. It just couldn't happen today. Back in '71, you could buy a ticket with cash under a fake name, walk onto a plane with a briefcase, and nobody would bat an eye. No ID checks, no baggage scans. Cooper's hijacking was a massive wake-up call that basically changed air security forever. All right, so he's out of the plane, but what happens next? Well, this is where the case goes from a criminal file to a modern-day myth, because it's defined by a total, baffling lack of answers. I mean, the FBI launched one of the biggest, most expensive manhunts in its history, and they found almost nothing. The only piece of solid evidence ever to turn up was 9 years later. A little boy on a camping trip found 3 rotting bundles of $20 bills from the ransom, half buried in a riverbank. So, did Cooper lose some of the cash on the way down? Or did he die and this is all that was left? We just don't know. And because he was never caught, and this is crucial because nobody on that plane was hurt, something strange happened. D.B. Cooper transformed from a dangerous criminal into a kind of folk hero. He became this symbol of the little guy who took on the system, pulled off the perfect crime, and just won. And so that's what it all boils down to, doesn't it? When you hear this story, who do you see? Is he a brilliant mastermind who got away with it and lived out his life somewhere in quiet anonymity? Or was he just a reckless guy whose luck finally ran out the second he jumped into that dark, stormy night? The evidence is gone, the trail is ice cold, and the legend of D.B. Cooper remains the perfect unsolved mystery.